Hello well-wishers, welcome back to my channel Aspiring Minds. Today we are going to dive deep into the world of Shakespeare with Act 1, Scene 3 of Julius Caesar. In this scene, we will get a glimpse of the political turmoil of the disturbance of ancient Rome, and we'll witness the interaction that takes place between some of the play's important characters. So let us begin. So, where does the scene take place? Remember, Act 1, Scene 2 takes place in a public place in Rome. Now, in this scene, we see the characters in focus, that are the conspirators, Casca and Cassius, who are discussing the events that led to Caesar's victory and return to Rome and how it has changed the political atmosphere of the city. So the scene begins with thunder and lightning. That is the general atmosphere at this time. In the initial stages, we see Casca entering with Cicero. Now Cicero wishes good evening to Casca and tells, "Brought you Caesar home? Why are you breathless and why stare you so?" So he's asking Casca that was it you who accompanied Caesar over here to Rome? That is why you are feeling all breathless right now, and why are you staring in a very tired manner? It happens that when we are very tired, we just sit and we are breathless, we are trying to catch our breath and we are staring or gazing in a fixed manner at something without any reason. So Casca says, "Are you not moved when the sway of the earth shakes like a thing unfirm?" He's saying that there's a storm that is arising at this moment, so anyone is supposed to be scared at this time because of the shaking movement of the earth that is taking place now, and how are you so unaffected? Then he says, "O Cicero, I have seen tempests when the scolding winds have rifted the knotty oaks." That is, he's saying in the past also he has witnessed storms or tempests rising, and the winds have been very stormy at this time. The winds have been so strong and fierce that they have actually moved or torn apart the strong mighty oak trees, and along with that he has often seen the waves of the ocean swell and rage out of anger. There's a lot of formation of foam, and the water is swaying and moving, and the level of water is rising to such an extent that it is seeming as if the level of water is going to touch the clouds, the sky. But never till tonight has he seen, till date he's never seen a storm so fierce. That is the extent to which the situation is of a stormy night. And he's saying along with that the storm is dropping fire. That means the lightning today is so strong and fierce that he is literally seeing there fire taking place in different areas where the lightning is dropping on earth, and he's never witnessed this before. So he's saying there could be two reasons for it. Either there's a civil strife in Rome, that means there's a civil war, there's a kind of a fight, a riot that has broken out in heaven, because of which there is this kind of a situation on earth, or else the world too saucy with gods, or else the world, the citizens, the people in general have misbehaved, have insulted God to such an extent that out of anger God is provoked, God has been instigated to cause destruction on earth. Now to this Cicero says, "Why, saw you anything more wonderful?" He's saying that have you ever seen anything more wonderful than what you've already mentioned? Now this scene, Casca's speech, reminds me of Macbeth, how there is a lot of supernatural that takes place. So that same supernatural, which is a very favorite element in Shakespeare's plays, is brought out in this speech here by Casca. He says that another wonderful thing that he had seen was a common slave, a slave which probably is familiar to Casca and Cicero, and he says that this particular slave that he saw had put his hand out in the fire. The fire's flames were so strong as if there were 20 torches that were burning all together. That is the strength, the fierceness of the flame of fire, but still this slave's arm remained unaffected, unburnt. And then when he was coming over here towards the Capitol, he also met a lion. Now this lion somehow did not do anything to Casca, and he just went away on his own. But as a way of protection, from then till now, Casca has kept his sword out. That is the reason why he has the scene begins with Casca entering with a sword in hand. So that happens. That is the second omen. Third, he says that he has met women who have been very scared, and they have claimed full assurance over the fact that they saw men walking up and down the streets, and these men were surrounded by fire and they were constantly walking up and down the streets. The fourth unusual occurrence that happened at this time was during the daytime there was an owl who was hooting and shouting and screaming on the top of his voice, which is something which again we don't see in the daytime and something that an owl does. Okay, and then he says that when these prodigies do so conjointly meet, that is when these supernatural occurrences are happening all together, it is almost unreasonable to say that this is something which is happening by chance and it's just happening just like that. There is some proper cause, there is some imminent disaster that is awaiting us, there is some kind of turmoil, disturbance that awaits, and these are just those warning signs through supernatural occurrences that we must take note of. To this Cicero says, indeed it is a strange disposed time, but men may construe things together after their fashion. That means he says that I understand what the situations or the events which you are narrating to me, they may be true, but each person has their own interpretation and their own way of looking at these things. So I know the times are bad and the time, difficult times are awaiting us, but these could possibly just be interpretations of different people and their assumptions of certain events which have actually happened just like that, but they've interpreted it as a supernatural occurrence. Now just before this, we see that Cicero asks if Caesar will be coming to the capital tomorrow. So Casca says that yes, he had sent word through Antonius that he would be coming here tomorrow. So Cicero bids good night to Casca and says that I will take your leave now because it's a stormy night and it is not good. It's not a good decision to be walking about on a day when there's a storm raging outside. And they bid goodbye to each other. Cicero exits and then enter Cassius. Cassius asks who is it, so Casca says that I'm a Roman. So Cassius is able to understand immediately that it is Casca who's come over here. So he says that your ear is good, that means you have a good power of recognizing people by their voice. So then he asks Cassius that what kind of a night is this, what's exactly happening over here. So Cassius says that it's a very pleasing night to honest men, whichever or whoever men are honest, they've not done anything wrong, to them nothing wrong will happen today, so we need not be worried. So Casca says whoever knew the heavens men and so here Casca is saying that who knew that even someday heaven could get angry or gods could get angry and create this kind of a storm, uncontrollable atmosphere all around. So Cassius says over here that even in the past when men have committed faults, these kind of situations have occurred on earth, but for his part, he has been walking about on the streets uncovered, exposing his body without any protection. He has just been moving about over here to such an extent on a day when lightning, the blue lightning from the heaven is coming and seeming to open up the earth. Even on those occasions, Cassius has been daring enough to be moving about uncovered. That is the amount of daring, the courage, the bravery that is there in Cassius. So Casca says, but wherefore did you so much tempt the heaven? Is it the part of men to fear and tremble when the most mighty gods by token such dreadful heralds to astonish us? So he's saying that why did you take up this challenge of moving about like this on a time when you know that the situation outside is not good, that there's a storm waging and you can get affected by the lightning? Because Casca says that it is the duty of men to fear and tremble whenever this kind of a situation happens. When there's a stormy night, men generally, that is the general nature of human beings, to be scared, because it's as if God has sent messengers purposely on earth to make human beings scared, to make them aware of any wrong that they've done. So at this moment, Cassius tells Casca that you are dull, Casca, and those sparks of life that should be in a Roman, that is the strength, the courage that is generally there in any Roman citizen, either you don't have it or you don't want to make use of it. You are becoming all pale, you are looking all scared, and you are, trying to be very fearful of this entire situation, seeing and thinking that it is actually God who's, conspiring all this to warn about any kind of dangers that await us. But if you consider the true cause behind all these events that are occurring, the fires raging. The beauty of Shakespeare's language, you see how he uses an alliteration, these gliding ghosts, why the birds and beasts are suddenly singing about over here. Now the gliding ghosts is actually a reference being made. Remember in a previous speech some time back he told that there were women who had claimed that they saw men walking about the streets with fire all around them. So that is the reference being made over here to the gliding ghosts. And then you may also feel that it is the old men who fool and play around, and the children are the ones who are of serious nature. Then he says that you might also be wondering why suddenly all these things which are supposed to be behaving in a natural manner have suddenly changed their course of behaving, and they are behaving in an extreme manner. Then you are at fault. It is actually some kind of warning of something more important than the doing of heaven. He's saying that this is not God who's conspiring all this because of something wrong that has been done on earth, but he's saying that there is one person I can name to you who in comparison is as dreadful, as scary as this night, and that person is none other than the person who is claiming utmost power by standing on the Capitol. He's actually referring over here to Julius Caesar, and he says that this man is mightier. He's suddenly become mightier than thyself or me. Means that if you compare the bodily strength of Julius Caesar, all three of them are same in terms of their bodily strength, but suddenly it is because of the citizens, the political situation, that he's become utmost important, and he has gained a lot of fame and importance suddenly. But if you compare and see, we all three are same in terms of our name and stature. Casca has now understood what Cassius is trying to say, so he says that we are meaning to talk about Caesar over here by making that comparison between this dreadful knight and this dreadful man. So Cassius says, let it be who it is, for Romans now have thews and limbs like to their ancestors. So he's saying, I don't want to take the name of the person who I am talking to you about, but one thing is sure, that we Romans, despite having strong muscles and limbs just like our forefathers did, we do not lack the courage that is required at this time, and our spirits have become like our mothers. Now this is actually if you talk about this same context in today's world, there'll be a lot of feminist rights which will rise up over here, but over here basically Cassius is saying that women are supposed to be weak and fragile and not having a lot of courage. That is, he's talking about women in his times, okay? So he's saying that our spirits, despite being men, our spirits have become similar to women, and we are just letting suffering happen, and we are not ready to gather our courage and take action against this situation. To this, Casca says that yes, of course, and tomorrow the senators are going to finally crown Caesar as the king. He'll be the mightiest king, not just on earth but also on not just on land but also in the sea and in every possible place in Italy. It is Caesar's rule that is now going to start from tomorrow, when he will finally be crowned. Now to this, Cassius is completely against Caesar becoming the king. So he is saying over here that if that happens tomorrow, he's going to put a dagger or a knife into his heart, and he's going to free himself from the life of slavery. He's also now talking to God and saying that, what have you done, God? You finally made the weak men strong. Because remember in Act 1 Scene 2 we had seen how they remember that there are strange fits that happen. That is why Caesar had also fainted when people were cheering for him. So he's saying that weak men have suddenly become strong. So he's saying that nothing is strong enough to keep a brave spirit in confinement. He's saying a brave spirit like me, no one can stop a powerful spirit of mine to be confined. I do not wish to be ruled by people who are as weak as Julius Caesar. Casca over here tells that in fact every slave has the capacity to break open or to move away from any kind of bondage or slavery that is imposed on him. So then to this, Cassius says, and why should Caesar be a tyrant then? He's saying that why should we acknowledge Caesar as a ruler who is cruel, because the fault lies not in Caesar alone but in us Romans also, and it is because of us Romans who are showing our weakness, we are not showing ourselves as strong and courageous, that it has given a chance to Julius Caesar to roam as the only ruler, the tyrant, the dictator over all of us. And then he says, "But oh grief, where hast thou led me? I perhaps speak this before a willing bondman." He's saying, I myself have become a slave to Julius Caesar, and then I am only talking about the ways in which I can, or a slave can try to break away from any kind of slavery or slavish situation, but I am also not being able to do something. Then he says that then I know my answer must be made, but I am armed and dangers are to me indifferent. So he's saying that, but now I'm going to gather courage and I'm going to take action against Julius Caesar, gathering all the courage despite any kind of dangers or obstacles that may come my way. To this Casca says, "You speak to Casca, and to such a man that is no fleering telltale, hold my hand." He's saying that you are talking in front of me to Casca, and you can take me in confidence that I'm not going to betray you. I'm going to be ready with all the facts, and I'm going to make sure that this woe, this strife, this grief that has come upon Rome and the people of Rome because of not showing courage enough to face Julius Caesar, you and I will come together in a conspiracy against Julius Caesar now. So Cassius is ultimately successful in brainwashing Casca against Julius Caesar. So Cassius now over here tells that he has been able to successfully make a deal in which now Casca is also there, and in the past he has spoken about the same issue against Caesar to other noble-minded people, noble-minded Romans, which over here he is referring to Brutus, and he says that all of them are together going to take up this conspiracy against Julius Caesar, no matter how dangerous the outcome of this be. And then he says that I do not know, by this stay for me in Pompey's porch, and he's saying that everyone is waiting. We've decided to meet for this cause in a theater which was known after Pompey. For now, this fearful night, there is no stir. He's saying that everything around is silent. The situation is all under control. Everyone has gone off to sleep, and now is the time that we need to get back to action. At this time, Cinna enters. So Casca tells everyone to stand close, that stand quietly, because someone is coming here in a lot of hurry. And Cassius says that it is Cinna who has come over here. I can understand from the walking style. He is a friend. That means he too is a part of this conspiracy. So Cinna tells, to find out you, who's that Metellus Cimber? Now Cassius confirms that it is not Metellus Cimber, but it is actually Cinna who's over here in the scene, and he gives confidence to Cinna that no matter what, he too is a part of this plan. So Cinna gets very happy. He says that I'm glad about it. What a fearful night this is. He also says that it's been a very strange night and we are all seeing strange omens, strange things happening. To this Cassius says that am I not stayed for? Tell me. He says that am I not a part of this plan? Tell me. Cinna says that yes, of course you are a part of this plan. Oh Cassius, if you could but win the noble Brutus to our party. He says that you are of course a part of this plan, but I wish if you could also convince Brutus to be a part of this. So Cassius then hands over some papers to them, and he says, be you content means be you satisfied. Be satisfied, good Cinna. Take this paper and you lay it in praetor's chair. That is, you should keep it in on the chair where Brutus may find it. He's saying that take these papers. Brutus is definitely a part of this conspiracy, but to get more confirmation on this, take these papers, put it on the chair where Brutus must definitely find it, and throw some of these papers with wax, that is with a stamp, throw it in the window, through his window into his room, up old Brutus's statue. All this done, repair to Pompey's porch where you shall find us. He's saying that do this that I have told you of throwing papers. These papers are not papers but actually letters. Remember in Act 1 Scene 2 we had seen how in the last speech of Cassius he says that he's going to write letters as if citizens have raised complaints in the name of honor, and he's going to brainwash Brutus further. So this is that plot coming into execution over here. He says that after all this is done, come and meet at Pompey's porch. So Cinna says that all but Metellus Cimber is, a part of this conspiracy, and well, I will hurry and so bestow these papers so as you bade me. He's saying, I'm going to quickly go and complete the task that you've given me, and we'll all meet at Pompey's porch. So now Cassius tells Cinna that yes, you do the job of delivering the letters to Brutus, and then you come back over here to Pompey's theater, and then he instructs Casca that come, we'll now go till the time that there's still daytime, we'll till before it is day, till before the day starts or before the sun rises, we'll all go and see Brutus and his house. 3 parts of Brutus they've already won over, that is more than half of the work is done of convincing Brutus towards their side, to bring Brutus on their side, and the man entire upon the next encounter yields him ours, and by the time these letters reach him and he reads them, and by the time he'll come back to us and meet us, he is completely confidently, in the name of honor, Brutus is going to turn against Caesar and our plan will be successful. Casca says, oh, he sits high in all people's hearts, all that which would appear offense in us. That is, Casca says that he occupies a very high position, a very high place in the hearts of people, and what might appear wrong to us, something which we think is wrong, will appear very correct and right and honorable if it is done by Caesar. So Cassius says that him and his worth, that is, him and his worth and our great need of him, you have right well conceited. That is, you have been correct in estimating worth of him and also our great need of him. That is, that Brutus is very, very important and we truly need him. So let us go till it is going to be daytime. We shall awaken him before daybreak, and we'll make sure that Brutus is by hook or by crook on our side no matter what, so that we can carry out our plot against Caesar. To sum up, this scene, that is Act 1 Scene 3, sets the stage for the conspiracy against Julius Caesar and provides us a deeper understanding of the aims and motive of the conspirators. It foreshadows or it announces what are the events that are to unfold as we progress with the play. The scene also serves to highlight the growing unease and the political tension in Rome, and it also shows us the different perspective of the characters on stage about the strange signs and evil omens. Remember, I told you Shakespeare is master of supernatural. There are other plays like Macbeth, like Tempest, where you find a lot of supernatural activity happening. Here we just find some instance of it in the scene. So that's it from this video. I will see you with my next video. Do like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and do comment down below about any further doubts that you have. Thank you for watching. Bye.